Hello, Internet. The King in Blue here, and I thought today would be a good day to play some Star Wars Dark Forces. Probably wondering why the screen is black. Well, this is how I would get to Star Wars Dark Forces back in the 90s, pre-2000s. This is the MS-DOS prompt, and it's a wonderful place to be. But you're probably like, well, how do I get to games? I can't do any of that. I'm touching my screen all over the place. Full hands on the screen. Nothing happened. That's because it's all keyboard based. For those of you who have never worked with an MS-DOS prompt before. I mean, you probably could figure that out, but the joke is funny, right? Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get our directory. Those of you who followed tutorials on your computers at home, some of you are probably on Mac or Linux, and you're thinking, well, this is what I would do. It's an illegal command. You want this one. Well, there's my folders. I'll just click on one of them. No, you can't do that. MS-DOS prompt, well, there are some versions that you can use a little mouse with. This one ain't it. I am playing on DOSBox on my Windows machine, so my mouse is here. But if I click, my cursor goes away because now I'm bound to the frame. Nope. To get to games, you got to change directory to the directory. And you're probably looking at these like, these are really confusing names. Well, yeah, you probably think that GOT there is Game of Thrones. No, it's God of Thunder, and it's an amazing game. I'll do a video on it sometime. But for today, we're going to Dark Forces. And you can see the dates on all these files. Other than the ones that were created recently, yeah, they're old. We're going to go ahead and load Dark, and that will load DOS4GW and start our game from LucasArts pre-Disney acquisition, back when EA didn't own all the rights. I have the music turned way down because of DMCA reasons. I just don't want to... I mean, I'm going to leave it there, but at the same time, I don't want to fight. Some drink here. I don't want to fight with copyright. We have our traditional Star Wars crawl with some amazing MIDI Star Wars theme. The new order of the Empire stretches its evil clutches across the galaxy, consuming planets with devastating results. Through many struggles, the Rebel Alliance has learned of a new Imperial battle station, the Death Star, with enough power to destroy an entire planet. Yes. Unable to acquire the plans to the deadly space station, the Rebels have employed the skills of Kyle Katarn. Known to most as a mercenary for hire, Katarn is a rogue figure who has a partial alliance with the Rebels. An alliance with the Rebel Alliance? Armed with only a blaster pistol and an intimate knowledge of Imperial methods, because he was a stormtrooper, Katarn prepares to infiltrate the Imperial base in which the plans are kept. So yes, this is the original Death Star plans story before we got Rogue One. Which personally, I'm going to say, as much as I love this game, I do think Rogue One is the best of the Disney Star Wars films. I'm not knocking the other ones. I'm not saying they're terrible, they're bad films. I'm just saying I like Rogue One the best because it took chances, it did things differently, but stayed within the realm of the Star Wars universe. I love the fact that our heroes don't win without having to spend lives. I love the fact that there's no hero of destiny who's just going to magically show up and, ooh, I'm the special one. Anyway, as you can see, I've beaten the game before on my stream, but we're going to go ahead and create a new agent. One thing you can see is it tells the difficulty you beat it on. So H is hard, M is medium, E is easy. So I've beaten the whole game on easy. But we'll be starting over with Secret Base. Just to finish my thought about Rogue One, it took a lot of chances. Like there was a big chance that having the ending that they did, people were going to say it's not a Star Wars film. It's, the worst Star Wars film ever built, made. Which, if Star Wars is always going to be a chosen one story, then it's going to go nowhere. There are those of us who would like more everyman stories, like Solo, he's not a chosen one. Jyn Erso, Cassian Andor, not chosen ones. Cassian, definitely not a chosen one. He outright murders a guy in like the first 10 minutes of the film. Not like it's a stormtrooper. Blam! I took out a stormtrooper in the back. No. Like murders a dude in a back alley by shooting him. That's gutsy for a new Star Wars film to pull off. There's a lot of people who would hate that character. I think he's awesome. Not because he murders people, but because like he's a different kind of character. He's an actual scoundrel, and he shoots first, as compared to Han now, who doesn't shoot first. Anyway, we have Senator Mon Mothma here. Confidential message. Rebellion is counting on the completion of this mission, Commander Katarn. I hope success is on your side. We have our evil PCB, printed circuit board. I know it's evil because it's red. And red PCBs are evil, because all the others are green. And I have this one for a project I'm doing. It's black. Black PCBs are okay. Blue's okay. But red? No. That's a Sith PCB. It's evil. It's got evil stuff on. I'm kidding. I'm making this up as I go. Anyway, we're going to go and we're going to get the plans for Princess Leia. If you disagree with my thoughts on Rogue One, do feel free to disagree with me down in the comments. Give your reasons. There are reasons, all of them are good. I'd like to know what yours are. Don't knock other ones. Just say why yours is good. Anyway, so we're going to get going here with this nice pixelated adventure. We're going to start by murdering an Imperial officer. You can tell why I like Cassian Andor. And we're going to wait for his buddy to come around the corner and shoot him. And we're going to miss the next guy, too. So I have a blaster rifle, but I'm going to put it away, because blaster rifles are horribly inaccurate. And that's why stormtroopers missed so much on the Death Star. Not because Darth Vader had put a homing beacon on the ship, and, you know, you only put a homing beacon on a ship that you expect is going to leave. Princess Leia even comments on it. That's the only reason for the ease of our escape, is they're tracking us. Reality is, he could have blown their ship up in the cargo bay and they would have been hosed. So that's how this game explains stormtroopers not aiming well, is blaster rifles are just inaccurate. Which anyone who's ever fired a gun will tell you, a rifle is always more accurate than a pistol. Well, maybe not always, but I mean, I've fired a rifle that was really bad. But then again, 22 caliber isn't the best for accuracy when it's like, you know, cheap 22 ammo that you buy by the box. So this is one of the first game. Excuse me, I'm talking here. Would you kindly stop shooting? That goes for you too. This is one of the first games I played where you could look up, look down. You could jump, you could crouch. It wouldn't be until later that I got. Wouldn't be until later that I would play Ultima Underworld, and that would be another game that I'd have to learn how to control the look up, look down. That was really tricky. Stormtroopers, they just have no regard for monologuing. As terrible as this is, to hear about stormtroopers and stuff and lore that no one has cared about in years. Or my first experiences with the game, for that matter. Everyone just came to watch the gameplay, right? So, yeah, it was crazy for me to try and wrap my head around. I can change the angle I'm looking at. I was used to Doom and Wolfenstein, which are basically, well, Wolfenstein 3D, that are basically top-down shooters projected into a first-person perspective. They're not actually 3D games. There it goes. Gotta line that up just right. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about that, so I won't go into too much detail of it here. Just understand that even though Doom lets you move up and down, when you shoot, it automatically scales your weapon's projectiles, which in the case of guns is just literally a scan of, is there something in front of you? Really, I'm only coming up here to get some shields and restock ammo for the final confrontation. I could go back down the elevator, but there's a secret area that I'd like to have access to. So yeah, those games are just top-down 2D shooters in a first-person perspective. I'm not going to get those shields yet because I know these guys down here always get me once just because of the tight quarters. So that's what made this game really neat for me. Also, it was Star Wars, and at the time, I loved everything Star Wars. I was playing the Star Wars collectible card game, which I would love to stream myself playing at some point and play with some people. I think it's in Octagon. If it's not, I know it's in Lackey.
This is too easy. Now to get to my ship.
Yeah, which makes you wonder whether or not the plans are legitimate if it's that easy. Come around the corner. There we go. We are almost done with this level here. There we go. And that is E1M1. And technically I could call it E1M1. Because it's mission 1 of the first episode. Because there were, Dark Forces, Jedi Knight, Mysteries, Outcast, Academy. 5 games in the series. I had to count because there's some weird, Mysteries of the Sith comes after. Anyway, cover that some other time. Here's our nice polygon moldy crow. Notice it says mission objectives complete, but the game isn't ending. Escape. Next mission. Yes.
Kyle delivers the
and now we get a cinematic.
Soon afterwards,
this was crazy when I first saw it. I was like, wait, what? I hadn't played any of those FMV games. I don't think I'd even played Myst at this point. And to see something like this with like actual cinematics, like I'd played Wing Commander, but a lot of those cinematics were just canned and recycled.
The Emperor has approved.
This actually stored the full screen image in the files, as compared to Wing Commander, which just focused on like the mouths and eyes. So as people would talk, they would have their head fixed in place. They wouldn't move. They would blink occasionally just to make them seem real. And then it would cut over to someone else. I mean, it looks like that's what they did here in processing it and animating it. But then you come to a sequence like what we're coming up to where it's clearly fully animated. And you're like, whoa, what? Like, it was mind-blowing at the time. And I'm sure other people had first games that came before this that did these things. But this was my first one. Man, such cool stuff. Dear Fantasy Flight Games, where are the Dark Troopers in Star Wars Legion? You gave us the Moldy Crows. Don't tell me it's a licensing thing. You gave us that and Kyle Katarn, as well as the Outrider with Dash Rendar. Where are the Dark Troopers? I know it's a newer game, but where are the Dark Troopers?
Most pleased. Continue with your project.
All 3 phases. Gotta give us the phase 3. I know I'm talking over this copyright stuff. I'm just trying to keep from getting dinged, you know? Ah, chunky pixels.
Thank you, Commander,
I
for
love chunky
responding at
pixels.
such short
These aren't
notice.
as chunky as
The
some other
Empire
games
has
I
been
like,
keeping us on the run
but
since the destruction
for a
of the
full
Death Star.
motion, or not full motion, but for
5 days ago, the
cinematics in
Empire
a game,
attacked one of our
these are
secret
nice chunky
bases in the
pixels.
city of
I
Tallinn.
like them a lot. It's a trap. That was mind-blowing because I knew that came right out of the movie. And I think at this point I might have seen like my first JPEG image. All right, the idea of a high-res image that was pulled from a movie. Like, I was like, whoa, you can do that? Yeah, you can. Even though I'd played Mortal Kombat at this point, which had, which I assumed was just like digital still pictures. You know, really expensive tech.
This looks like it could be a normal Imperial attack.
I'm nerding out on this a little bit, and I'm sorry. But I'm not
Very
sorry.
perceptive, Commander.
Because this takes me back to those days.
That all we discuss here is classified.
Which is why it got recorded in the
Imperial
game.
officer, Crix Medine, wishes to defect to the Alliance. He has supplied us with information on the
Yeah,
development of a new Imperial weapon.
It's just so cool.
that
Like, still to
sounds
this
you
day,
hardly
thinking,
believe come from
man,
that
I remember
weapon.
when I was
A
playing
new
text
type of
adventures on
stormtrooper,
Apple.
The Dark Trooper.
A new
And
stormtrooper that can take out a rebel base
You
that
just don't
quickly?
get better than that.
I should have kept working for the Empire.
You know, the fact
Rebel
that we went
command
from
is not
one
taking this
to like a
lightly.
wing commander
They
and
have
an
authorized
Ultima
me to
Online
hire
and
you
this.
to find out if
And
there
now
is a
it's
threat,
like
and if there
full
is,
motion
to
video.
shut it
Who
down.
actually uses
That
that
is,
in games
you are still on
anymore?
our side.
Like, everything's handled in engine. Because you
This
just
could
have
be
to store
interesting.
movements and voice lines. You don't have to
All right,
store
I'm
a
in.
full image.
But I think I'll need some help on this one. I want Jan Ors as my mission officer.
Man. What once was
Then
machinima,
I'll
like
let
people
Jan brief
custom
you
building
further on your
stuff,
mission
is now
objectives.
how we do things
Thank you,
by
Commander.
default.
And may the Force be with you.
Technology, guys. Wow. And we get the Rebel fleet heading off. And we're going in the opposite direction. So, I'm going to end this here. Do one mission per episode, just to keep them from being too long. I know I'm rambling the whole time. Part of it is to prevent copyright strikes so that you're listening to me the whole time. I'm adding something to the content. But also because, well, otherwise you're just watching me play the game. Which I feel can get kind of boring. Anyway, the next mission is the Tally Talk base. We meet Jan Ors here with her HT, her handy talkie. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the start of the next video while all of you are screaming down in the comments, that's a walkie-talkie. Don't argue. It's an HT. Anyway, if you liked what you saw, feel free to like, subscribe, ding the bell, drop a comment. But until next time, 73, have a nice evening.